Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
It's a spooky, almost Halloween. It's only 2 months away.
Yeah, we have an AdaBox coming, so we had to show that in the beginning to remind everyone that we only have a few openings. So adabox.com, sign up. Halloween one's going to be shipping in 2 weeks or less.
Yes, it's going to be spooky.
Yeah.
Scary.
All right.
We got an exciting show for you tonight. Yeah, it's me, Miss Lady Ada, with me, Mr. Lady Ada. As always, we're doing our Ask an Engineer show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And today is no exception. I thought maybe there'd be an exception. No, none. We stopped for nothing except internet or power outages. But not today. We've got an exciting show for you tonight with all sorts of news and new products and updates and videos, guides, and more. We're rock and rolling. You know, we worked hard all summer, and now everybody's back, and we're going twice as fast, twice as hard. So why don't you tell them what's going on tonight's 1 hour long show?
Yeah, on tonight's show, the code is 5 is alive. We're doing that for a couple of reasons. One, CircuitPython 5 Alpha is live, but also everyone's lovable robot from Short Circuit, Johnny 5, is alive. And I also grabbed a little clip for you youngins out there, for folks who haven't seen this movie.
Like, what is this? What are you talking about?
Go watch Short Circuit, because it's one of the few movies where there is robot friends, not robot enemies. At least that's kind of the moral of the story at the end. But here's a little bit of the ending and what Johnny 5 likes to say when things work out.
Mr. 5, tell us how you feel.
How do I feel? I feel alive!
So
it's like the classic 80s movie where you jump up at the end.
You got lots of Steve Gutenbergs in there.
Yeah.
You got everything. But the code is 5 is alive, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Gets you 10% off everything in stock except for gift certificates, AdaBox, and Codecademy classes. It supports us, an open source hardware company here in New York City. We make the stuff here, we ship the stuff here, we code the stuff. We do all the stuff that a U.S. manufacturing company would do if there was more USA manufacturing companies. So use the code, save a buck or two, and make this cool company thrive. Show and tell people around the world, show and sharing their projects. Lydia will talk about who was on the show and tell and what they shared. We've got JP's show along with a MakeCode Minute. We'll talk about that. We have Python and hardware news. We have time travel, where we look at some past projects or things that we're up to, events, or just things going on in the maker world. 3D printing, we got a video and a sped up video from Noah and Pedro. Some made in New York City factory footage starring the Adafruit factory. We got some new products. We'll answer your questions, and don't forget to hang out in Discord during the entire show, adafruit.it/Discord, in addition to anytime, really. There's 13,000 of us, and you can hang out with people that like to share their projects and more. We'll do some top secret. We'll have a trivia question where we give away something, all that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Yay.
Okay. Well, we got a lot of stuff going on in the show tonight.
Lots of stuff.
A little bit of reminder, 5 is alive is the code.
You can use it on robotics parts you want to buy.
Like
Build your own robot friend.
We do have some free stuff going on. We extended the CircuitPython Day to CircuitPython Week to CircuitPython Month, and now it's spilling over into
CircuitPython
yeah,
bi-monthly.
September, but we still have some stickers left.
Yes.
So you get one of these pretty much for every order.
If you have $1 or more in your cart, because we couldn't make it 0 and we
Yeah.
don't have any number less than, because it's an integer, $1 or more, you'll get a free CircuitPython sticker. It's this wonderful sticker featuring Blinka, the magical mascot of CircuitPython. $99 or more, we still have the PermaProto half-size breadboard. These PCBs you can solder to once you build your project to make your project prototype permanent. $199 or more, you get free UPS ground shipping. That's trackable, insured shipping. UPS ground in the continental US is our favoriteest way to ship products around this country. And at $299 or more, you'll get a free Circuit Playground Express, our all-in-one development board that runs Arduino, CircuitPython, Code.org CS Discoveries, MakeCode, MakerBlocks, TeenyGo, MicroLisp, what you want, you got it. It has sensors and buttons and LEDs all built in already, so you can use this to get your project started. As someone said today on the show and tell, it's the thing that brought them into electronics from being a software engineer, and they love it.
Okay. For the type of shipping, as Lady mentioned, we have UPS ground. The best way to do it in the U.S. postal, if you like mystery sometimes. Sometimes it disappears and
Spooky
reemerges,
mystery, yeah.
and then DHL International is the way to go for international. If you're in New York City, and you check out before 11 a.m., and you're in Manhattan, and it's a zip code that we do same day, you can get your package delivered same day. Okay, show and tell. People around the world show and sharing their projects. Lady Ada, who's on the show and tell, and what did they share?
I'm glad you asked. Show and tell, we had a bunch of people. Thanks to everybody for showing up on StreamYard, our system we've been using for a couple of weeks now. It's been working out. Phil B came by with a Pepper's Ghost demo using the monster mask, and he found some tempered glass used for protecting iPhone screens, and it works perfectly to get the monster mask eyes to float over your eyes. They actually, you look like your eyes have been replaced with TFT eyes. It's an effect that's hard to explain, but if you watch the video, you will be amazed, and we'll show a clip of it also later. JP showed off what he's going to be working on tomorrow, Thursday. It's going to be the fish monster mask. He's going to show how you can take rubber masks such as fishes and chickens and pigs and whatnot, and update them to use the eyes to make them, you know, they already have separate eyes for looking through, so these are perfect monster mask adaptable projects, and he'll be showing how he's going to get that all fitted in tomorrow, Thursday, on JP's workshop. Melissa showed off her TensorFlow Raspberry Pi guide. Is it true that you can run TensorFlow on a Raspberry Pi 4? Yes, it is. She wrote a guide on it. So check out that guide, and if you have one of the new Pi 4s, you too can make an object detector using machine learning and artificial intelligence. Brian has been working on a library and guide for an upcoming new sensor, the TLV493D. This chip is a 3D magnetometer, and he's got a demo where he detects a magnet and turns on an LED. That's a good demo. And more to come as that product gets wrapped up, and we'll put it in the store sometime next week. Neil and Pedro have Mickey ears. They have escaped the storm that is coming to Florida, but luckily they took advantage of a lot of people hiding out or leaving town, and they went to Disney World, and they picked up some Mickey ears, added a gemma and some neon diffused Neopixels, and made super cool rainbow Mickey ears that you can DIY yourself for only a couple bucks after you pick up these ears from your favorite Disney seller. And then when you go there, you look cool. And then when you shake your head, a little motion sensor detects that and sparkles the LEDs. It's like what's it called, the light parade every night. Nick came by, showed off like 3 different Circuit Playground Express projects. He's loving them. He built a wearable robot, and he's using spade terminals, so he doesn't have to solder them. He made a cricket bot with like a tin can, looks like a tea can, and a 4-stick one-dimensional Pong game. So it's Pong, but it's like multiplayer, all using a Circuit Playground with little to no soldering, because he's a software person, and so he does less soldering, more coding. JMK was cleaning up, maybe get ready for the school year, and found a lost Pi portal, and was like, I should port JMK off to this. JMKOS, as you know, is the premier DIY Python operating system written by JMK, which you can pick up and run on your computer. But now you can run it on a PyPortal, which is exactly what it's perfect for. It's got a touch screen, and it's ready to have apps and icons. And he's got a couple things going. He's going to get a clock app going. He's got windows with close buttons. So he's basically writing a window manager for the PyPortal. That's super cool.
Yeah, and one thing, we've been posting up some retro guides. We talked about this last week, but we had one for Magic Cap OS. And one of the things that we thought was really important and cool with PyPortal is you can do things like HyperCard. So we have PyperCard. You can start to make your own little operating systems, your own self-contained device. Because there really isn't a way for that.
Yeah.
For people to, like, let's say if you want to make your own, like, little PDA. And so JMK is jumping right in. And that was one of the specific things that we wanted to see people do. So excellent work,
Yeah.
JMK. And if anyone's interested, just check out not only the PyPortal guides that has some of the cool buttons and things that you can do, and PyperCard, but also check out some of the retro guides so you can look at what people did 20 years ago on these highest end, most expensive devices at the time. Now you can do it for like under $50 and you can build it yourself.
Amazing. I know. It's like JMK is like it's like redoing the Newton.
Yeah.
Spedwell came by and showed off a camera mounted on a helmet. It's his favorite type of camera. It's 10 years old. And he fixed the button, which is super cool. Instead of having to buy a new one when the button broke, he took it apart, soldered the button back on, and put it back together, and it works. And like that's one less thing that goes into the trash heap, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Alvaro is building an open ROV. It's an underwater robot, and they're hacking it. And he's also building a Braille keyboard, which will show off soon. And went to an event and customized the Pi badge to show off his name. So he's got a bunch of projects going on. Christophe came by and showed off the mini robot PCBs that he's been working on. He also made 2 wearables. One is a capacitive touch light up sweater or jacket, which has LEDs down the arm. And it's not using a microcontroller for capacitive touch. It's using just 2 transistors, which is the original style. This is how originally people did capacitive touch. They would use the capacitive input to turn on, a transistor, which would turn on another transistor, and it was just enough current to activate it and turn on these LEDs. And also, he has an embroidered jean jacket that was embroidered with conductive thread, and then a microcontroller that has audio output was used to read the touches from the capacitive touch on the conductive thread and play audio out through a speaker or through headsets. So a cool audio jacket.
All participants in Show and Tell get an as seen on the Show and Tell sticker. If your kid, please have a guardian parent-like entity email us. Okay, on JP's show, which is happening tomorrow at 4, we have...
More masks.
Yeah, so here's a little bit of preview.
This was last week.
This is last week, then we're going to show somebody coming in. So this is what he showed last week, and then you can tune in tomorrow to see
more
what
like
he's gonna
this.
do this week. And every week on JP's show, in addition to showing all these cool projects and more, we have something called MakeCode Minute. We'll be launching our MakeCode newsletter next week.
Soon.
Yeah, if all things go well. We have a ton of content on the first one, and then JP's MakeCode Minute that he does every single week. If you want to just jump in real fast and use one of the fastest, easiest, best block programmer or JavaScript or static Python, MakeCode's the way to go. Take it away, JP.
For the MakeCode Minute today, I wanted to talk about how you can use the accelerometer on the Circuit Playground Express to drive pins high or low, which will in turn flip on a 120 volt switch. So check this out. I've got my Circuit Playground Express here. You can see in my code what I've got going on is a really simple sketch. I'm using, over in this advanced section, these pins. And so you can do a lot of stuff with digital and analog input-output, or I/O pins. So what I've done is I've said on start, I'm going to send the pin called A1, it's one of the pads on the Circuit Playground Express, to low. And then I set all the pixels to yellow just so I know I've turned it on and things are working. Then when I have the face up, which is sort of the resting on a table orientation, I'm going to keep that pin A1 low, and I'm going to set all the pixels to red. Then when I tilt it up, the accelerometer is going to know that I've done that, and it's going to write digital A1 pin to high, and then it's going to set all the pixels to green. Now, that in and of itself isn't too interesting, but watch what happens when I do that. Do you notice something over here on my face? I'm getting lit up. So I've got a straight up light bulb, a light bulb socket there that's being lit. And the way I'm doing that is with a power strip relay. And that's this gizmo you see right here. I can go full screen with this actually. So if you see this gizmo here, this is got a momentary, or a rather normally off it's a pair of switches and a normally on pair of switches. And there's a little control block there that takes a command anywhere from probably 2 to 5 or maybe a little more volts will tell that to switch its state. So there I can flip that relay and safely turn on and off this light that you can see lighting me up here every time I do that. And so that is how you can trigger an external relay using MakeCode on a Circuit Playground Express. And that is your MakeCode Minute.
All right, so tune in to JP's show every single week, Thursdays at 4 p.m. Next up, it is now time for some Python on hardware news.
This is my favorite time of the week.
All right, so
V is for victory.
yeah, well, that's what the code was sort of too for tonight, which was
So Python 5, yes, we have an alpha out for CircuitPython 5.0.0. You probably remember CircuitPython 4.
I remember
That's so
CircuitPython
long ago.
1, yeah.
Yeah, well, now up to 5. And 5 has started to add a bunch of stuff. We've got some Bluetooth updates. We've got e-ink displays natively supported. We've got some OLED support as well.
Yep.
PWM audio, which is great for Circuit Playground Bluefruit. So lots more cool stuff, and some audio stuff is making its way in. We're making some audio improvements like Audio Mixer. So good stuff is coming into 5.0. So 4 is definitely stable now. People are loving it. It's faster, uses less memory. 5 will be even better.
try it out on your device, circuitpython.org/downloads.
Has your
Next up,
UF2s.
Device Simulator Express, a Microsoft Garage project. We mentioned this last week, but I got even more information in the newsletter this week. This is if you want to use VS Code and you want to use Circuit Playground Express, CircuitPython, and maybe you don't even have a device, so now there's a device simulator.
If you love the device simulator from MakeCode, and who doesn't? I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment that the MakeCode team added. And as you move up, you maybe want to use it with VS Code as well in CircuitPython. Well, they've added a similar type of simulator, so you can blink LEDs and detect temperature and light, all from within VS Code. So it's a plugin that you can install, so it works with any VS Code install, and it's ready to go for CircuitPython.
All right, here's just some of the interns, not all of our picture. Congratulations, summer interns at Microsoft.
They shipped a
Garage.
product, yay!
Next up, we have some updates on circuitpython.org, especially if you go to circuitpython.org/downloads, you will be able to see different boards. Some of them aren't even released. We decided, you know what? To heck with it. If there's an unreleased board, it's just going to show up in the list. You're going to see it. It's okay. We're an open source company. No secrets here.
We're okay.
So we have 74 boards altogether, but you can see some of the upcoming products and more. Next up,
Looking great.
I've been chatting with the team, and I'm like, hey, we're doing so much stuff. Maybe I can get like 2 sentences from our team that works with CircuitPython and some of the things that go into it. So this is from Brian. Brian finished up Kattni's TLV 49 3D breakout and wrote a CircuitPython driver.
And it's the Bitsy Wing, which actually went in the store today.
Yeah, so this was an interesting one because there was no addressable registers like most I2C sensors. So instead you have to read bytes from the sensor until you get the information you need and on the same writes. Next up.
I2C is amazing because it's always the same and it's always different.
Dan's working on a lot of Bluetooth stuff. This week, working on macOS, Windows, Linux, and Chromebooks. It does not yet work on iOS, but I believe there's a new update.
No,
You'll
he
probably
did.
see
He did
that.
get it working.
You'll
Amazing.
see that next week.
Friday, he got it going.
Yeah, descriptors are added to their parent objects. They're created, and last update is adding compilation options to CircuitPython so a custom build can enable and disable individual USB and USB HID devices. This takes a step towards user-defined HID devices. And Melissa, who was on the show and tell, and also released a guide, had some status updates on the TensorFlow Lite for Raspberry Pi, and showing some really cool vision recognition projects. We'll show that off shortly. Next up, we have some neat guides. This one in particular I really like because it had one of the best tutorials, if not the only tutorial I've seen, that how to optimize your graphics for e-ink displays for 1-color, 2-color, and also what
Yeah,
we
if
call
you want
3-color.
your graphics to look great on e-ink displays, get that old school dither style going. We show you how to do it in Photoshop and ImageMagick, because every project eventually involves ImageMagick.
That is correct. Okay, also there is some more information about this cool book. This will be coming out. It's from Japan, and it is Circuit Playground Express, CircuitPython, and Mu, all in one book. And not only is the cover amazing, but check out some of the posts that we've done about this and some of the thoughts and care that's gone into this from the author and the artist who are working on it. CircuitPython snakes its way to Gamebuino. Gamebuino has a version of CircuitPython that they're
CircuitPython compatible.
CircuitPython that's compatible, that's on their game playing device. So we posted that up and more. We're hoping that they put in some pull requests so other people can get these features that they were working on. That is our request. We'll see if they do it. Next up, we've talked about this before. This is the CircuitPython powered hub. This is now in production.
Yay.
Congratulations, Capable Robotics.
Yay, they're capable.
I backed one of these, so I can't wait to receive mine, and it runs CircuitPython. It's pretty cool. The folks who are working on the RoboHat, Robotic Masters,
They're getting close to release,
they're
right?
about to ship this, and this is a CircuitPython running hat. Feather takes flight on the Kia Feather. This is a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth Feather. It's based on the Feather format because they wanted the most compatibility and the most wings and accessories out there. It uses an STM32F111, and you can program it with .NET Framework.
Yes, also supports
TinyUCL.
MicroPython.
Yep, and more. And then this this person was on our show and tell, but I also really like this. This is a cool project. It's a 3D printed case that is also a simple LoRa remote control.
Yeah.
So you can read more about it. All the Tinkercad stuff is up, all the GitHub stuff is up, all the CircuitPython stuff is up, so you can even remake one of your own. Okay. Each week we try to spotlight folks that are in the news or have a cool interview. So this is kind of neat because this is a twofer. There's a Python community interview with Marlene, and Marlene was also the person who got one of the Pi badges, who immediately made Marlene's name on Marlene's name badge.
Yay.
So read that
And she's wearing
interview.
purple, which is correct.
Yeah, so you can read this interview over at Real Python, and she's also the chair of the very first PyCon Africa.
Cool.
Check it out. Next up, the ESP32S2 is coming out soon.
Slowly making its way.
Everyone's freaking out, and they're like, I want to see this thing, I want to see this thing. So John Lee posted up a photo of this. They also, in their monthly newsletter, had the datasheet.
Yes.
So we posted that up. And
As soon as they have the USB core working, we're totally going to use this chip. I think we'll make Feather with it. We'll do some good stuff. We're just waiting for them to do a silicon revision and get the USB full speed core working, because that's exactly what we need for us to get CircuitPython working, to get TD-USB working.
Okay, the next issue of Micromag is available for download, and it's all about MicroPython.
MicroPython.
You can download it for free, and also if you want to subscribe, you can support them. It's a community-made and supported magazine. Okay, PyCon UK is coming up next week, 13th to 17th, and there is a call for bring out your hardware. So if you're going to the event, you can bring your hardware. I have links to the event. It's in the UK, of course, but if you want more information, you're in the UK, and you want to bring your own hardware, check out the PyCon link in the newsletter. It is a call for this open session. So they did one in a previous event, and Carlos sent this to us. So you can bring any of your Python running hardware. And that is it for the Python on Hardware news this week. Lots of stuff.
Jam-packed. So much stuff is happening every week.
Okay, Adafruit.io and our IoT monthly newsletter. It ships on Friday, so go to adafruitdaily.com and sign up for it.
You must sign up. We don't sign
Yeah.
you up for you. You have to do it.
Yeah, adafruitdaily.com and sign up for the IoT monthly newsletter. It'll ship on Friday. I think it's the best IoT newsletter out there.
And there's a lot going on, especially with CircuitPython, Python
Yeah.
hardware, Raspberry Pi, lots of I/O stuff going on.
Okay, time travel. We're going to look around the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers. We do segments throughout the week now. We have a Stemma Sunday, so we're going to play that, and then we're going to talk about Machine Learning Monday.
Okay. This is a Stemma Sunday, and today I'm getting this GPS module up and running. This is a UART and I2C capable miniature GPS module with an antenna built in. Look how cute this thing is. And on the bottom I've got a coin cell for battery backup. And since it's Stemma, I can hook it up to other I2C objects like this OLED display. So you can see it's updating the time. And I'm indoors, so it doesn't have a location, but it has got the time and date updating. And I have a little itsy bitsy M4 driving all this, so it's kind of cute. It's got I2C cable to GPS, the OLED, all with Stemma QT. So it's working pretty well.
Okay, cool. All right, this Machine Learning Monday was a lot of fun because we were able to debut our Braincraft hat.
Yes.
So history of this board.
Let's talk about how did this start?
Yeah, we wanted to make the easiest, best way to do machine learning stuff in like 5 minutes. And so we've done stuff like this with robotics, with the Cricket hat. We want
train.
Yay!
Okay.
And as you can hear, it's working.
Yes.
So we've called this Braincraft because like machine learning and TensorFlow and TinyML, all those words are a little confusing to folks. So we thought like crafting brains.
What does that mean? Yeah,
like
what?
crafting a little brain.
Yeah.
So we showed the preview of
But
the
it also
hardware.
means like it's not just code. It's like it's crafting. Like we're going to be making cool stuff with this, like cool demos, things that are useful for people.
Yeah, and so we showed the hardware not too long ago, but we had Pete Warden, who heads up the TensorFlow stuff at Google, I think on the device side, but it might even be more. And we said, okay, great, if you can wave a magic wand and have everything you want on a machine learning device, what would it have? And we went through the list and we did it.
Yes.
So
Everything he asked for.
Yeah.
I was like a magic fairy.
So we're going to do a live demo, but here's what folks probably saw who follow some Adafruit stuff. It not only sees what you hold up in front of it, but it will say it. And we thought that was really important because we want to make machine learning accessible for everyone. What if you're vision impaired? What if there's lots of what ifs with this? And we also wanted to use something that showed the capabilities. So we have about 1,000 different things it can recognize.
Yes, and this is the MobileNet V2 model. So we're just starting with the first model. We're actually basing the code we have right now is written by Lei, can't remember her last name, but it's in the guide. And she wrote this really cool demo, and I was like, oh, this is an excellent start. And all I did was just make it so you could have text overlay and speech output. So just taking her basic demo that she posted a couple weeks ago, and just making it even awesomer.
Okay, so Lady Ada has put a piece of paper
To protect.
over the camera because what happens is it sees our fluorescent lights and it thinks it's a bullet train, which is not a bad guess.
Not a bad guess,
So
okay.
I'm going to start off with some things. So I think it was pretty clear. Everyone probably agrees that this works with the coffee cup.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show, so
Birds.
I don't own a penguin,
But I wish you did.
but I have a photo of a penguin.
Okay.
So we're going to have it recognize this photo
But
of a
you really
penguin.
said if you picked up a penguin, you're like, penguin. Okay.
King Penguin.
Not bad.
Good work.
So the demo that I wanted to show is I grabbed some photos off the internet and I just put it in the iPad photo thing, so I could slide quickly. So here we go. And what you're seeing is this is me off to the side. Hi, I have an iPad. I have things on the iPad. And then this is the device here. And we'll see how it goes. You can see the number of frames per second. It'll put the words on the screen and it'll also say it. And this is what we wanted to see in a machine learning demo. We didn't see anything out there like it, so we said we're going to do it ourselves.
Okay.
Cockroach.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Let's
I'm going to hold this up so you can even see the lights, so you can see the words even better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Forklift.
Oh,
That's
it
really
says on here
fast.
there's a forklift.
Giant panda.
Dog.
Pug. Tiger. Clomber. English setter. Eel.
You.
Leopard.
Okay, so that's not bad. And maybe at the end of the show, if there's time, I'll have I'll let folks shout out a thing. We did do things like we're like, oh, maybe we should see if it can recognize different types of birds. We had that request. So I'll,
You look at a parrot.
yeah, I'll quickly do
Classic,
that.
classic parrot.
Yeah, I'll see what, well, yeah, I think it's like a macaw. So we'll see what it does.
Oh yeah.
McCall.
Yeah, not
It
bad.
knows more. I'm like, I don't know what kind of parrot that is.
Yeah, so this is the machine learning demo. This is it on a Raspberry Pi 4.
4, and then we just have the Braincraft hat, which has a 240 by 240 TFT display. And then it's also going to be able to do audio stuff. So there's a microphone here, speaker output. It's got Stemma connectors, so you can connect like Neopixels or servos. There's an on-off switch, which you'll be able to do, if you want to turn on and off the microphone, as well as a 5-way joystick. So we'll be able to select, you'll be able to select what mode you want it in, a button, and some dot stars for like really bright indication. And then underneath here, you can just see the headphone jack and the other Stemma. So next up, I'm going to get the microphone working, but we got the
Bullet
audio.
train.
We got the audio going pretty. The video actually came pretty well. It
Bullet
sort of
train.
just worked with our Pi TFT demo.
I like that it sings Bullet Train.
I like that too,
So-
but yeah, so we're gonna do the audio next. But the TFT kind of came together this weekend pretty fast.
Yeah, a couple fun things with AI.
Yeah.
When it saw me, it called me a punching bag, which it's not wrong. And then one of the times, it just it saw my hair and it said wig.
Wig. It calls me Wig a lot too.
Yeah, and so this is really fast, and it does about 1,000 objects, and you're probably wondering, okay, well, what's next? So next thing we're gonna do is we're probably gonna. This is a Speak and Spell reissue, and it's kind of neat. We did a blog post about this because the electronics are super tiny now. It's not the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd do a Speak and ML, and it would be able to see. We put the camera out the back, and you'd walk around with this, and it would say, "Go find a tiger." Hopefully, you're not going to find a real tiger,
No,
but
no.
you'd be able to find like a picture of a tiger, and it would say "tiger," and you would do a scavenger hunt of sorts.
Yeah.
Look, it's coffee. You'd walk around with this. So I thought this would be a really good way for people to understand what machine learning is, how they can make machine learning work for them, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And we have some other ideas.
Okay.
An emoji cam, so it looks at your mood and it types in the emoji for you. None of this is internet connected either, by the way.
Yeah. This is all running
we like this on the edge.
on the device itself.
Yeah.
That's why it's running 7 frames per second.
Yeah, the other idea is you would use this emoji cam, or you would hold up something and it would change the character you are in a game based on what you're showing it. So that's kind of neat. Like a game controller with machine learning and vision in it. So if you can't get past a certain part of a game, you show it a picture of your cat and it says cat, and it turns your character into a cat. So you want to do machine learning in the very Adafruit way, like easy to use, get up and running in 5 minutes, lots of documentation, lots of videos, not like guns and Terminator stuff. This is all make robot friends, not robot enemies. So that's what's ahead with some machine learning stuff, and maybe I'll play it.
Spell level A. Press go to begin.
This is the new
Now,
one.
The weird thing about the new one is they did change the voice. It's not identical, and I need to find where my old one is too. Okay, next up. So tomorrow is Hackaday's 15th birthday. I started the site 15 years ago. I do not run the site now, but I get to celebrate its birthday. Sorry, kid, you're on your own.
Well, you birthed it.
Yeah. So the Hackaday team, or at least some of them, will probably be on a very quick video that I thought we could do together real fast.
Yeah.
About maybe the last 15 years of Hackaday. And the more exciting thing, I think, is what could happen in the next 15 years. And not even limited to Hackaday. What can communities, electronic communities do? What can open source communities do?
Yeah.
And so look for that. It'll probably be tomorrow at 8 p.m. We have the Discord channel, Hackaday 15 years, and we'll get the word out. I'll do blog posts tomorrow and stuff, but this is all just coming together. And then next week, on Wednesday, we are doing a Hackaday Hack Chat about machine learning. So a lot of these demos you'll
Yeah.
see. And we have some folks from Google.
Do I know anything about machine learning? No, but I know a little bit more than most people.
But here's okay, so
I know enough.
I'll break character for a second. So, I live with Lamore, and she's like, I don't know this machine learning stuff. Yet you have the most advanced, best demos already, and more people are
That's
able to
because
use machine learning.
other people wrote the code. I'm just running it.
You know what? This is one of those times where, I think if you spent your entire life doing machine learning, you wouldn't be able to do demos with electronics
That's
because
correct.
you would be doing algorithms and stuff
You'd
like
be
that.
focused on how many layers
Yeah.
of
you know
neural
more
networks
about
you need.
machine learning than you think.
I know enough to be dangerous.
All right, so open source hardware, some open source news, a little bit of sad news, I think. So Gordon posted this up, and Gordon, a lot of people might know Gordon from Wiring Pi, and Gordon said, I am done.
He's out.
I am done doing public releases of
Yeah.
Wiring Pi. And I want to talk about some of the reasons he said he's done. Read the whole thing. I have a blog post about it. But the first one is, okay, so you've taken my software and you're putting in a UPS unit and you're gutting all of the credit out except for you leave my email address. So when people have problems with it, they email me.
Yeah.
And it's on like
That
thousands
sucks.
of devices.
That sucks. And also, they're statically linking, so if it's like every new Pi comes out, it's out of date, it doesn't work, and then he gets blamed. It's like, why did you break
Yeah.
it? He's like, I didn't break it. There's things get updated.
Then he said, the sad people is, yeah, people steal GPL code all the time. And he said, I've even had someone tell me to my face that they would take and republish my code under their name because there's nothing he could do about it. So this is a problem. Like, and we discuss this sometimes. Never in the history of the planet have you been able to get a hold of someone. So you can tweet at them, you can email them, you can leave a
Facebook
GitHub
them.
issue.
There's infinite ways for people to get to you.
You can even see them in person. And I actually understand why a lot of people just can't handle this because, like, let's say you're a musician and you put out an album and you might be like world famous or something, but like random Twitter is now like saying how much your music sucks. And like, yeah, like, okay, don't release music, but at the same time, like, we were supposed to use the internet for connecting and being good, not constant tearing everyone down.
Yeah, the promise was you would connect only people who are interested in the same things, and now it's connecting people who hate the same things.
Yeah, it's like you can't, like, these social media things, they give a lot, but they also take a lot. And so, anyways, I don't see why this person had to say that, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna take your GPL code and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like, that's not true. You can, but
also, like, why?
It's also about intention. And like, why would they talk to this guy and like, I'm gonna take your Raspberry Pi code and put my name on it?
I'm gonna punish you.
So as we were reading this, we're like, oh wow, this happens to us every week.
This happens to me all the time.
People take Lamore's name off lots of code.
Tons.
And they'll maybe just leave, like, or they'll put your email address or something so they can, customers have problems, they'll email you. It's on someone else's hardware, which would be fine if they just left the contact info. And then here's where he said, final straw. And I'll zoom in on this. Final straw. He said, an individual by the name of Daniel K., who bleated at me for not releasing the sources for the Pi version 4 version in a timely manner. I put up a .deb file designed for the correct dynamic linking, but Daniel pointed out the following. Not to be a complete ass or anything, but technically the LGPL license requires you to make the sources available when it's released. Great, thanks, Dan. So Gordon was sick at the time, and he just didn't get to it like that hour, so he's like, I'm out. So I'll say this. One, anytime someone says not to be a blank, but everything they say after that is exactly what they just said they're not going to be. But so
second, technically, as the author, he does not have to release the sources because he can say, "Well, I'm releasing this under a non-open license." Like it's.
I don't even want to get
like
into
it's
that.
not even. Like, I'm just saying, like even if you were to argue in the legal point, this guy's just wrong.
Yeah. So of course, I post this up, and some jerk posted on our blog that we didn't have something up fast enough, and it was he didn't.
And he was wrong too.
And he was wrong. It's like and I don't want to respond back and be like, "Hey, it's already been posted," but he was like total jerk. And I'm not going to let them post on our site anymore.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, like, this is what happens. And so this is why a lot of people leave open source. And I get it, I understand.
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, remember someone said, oh, like, get thicker skin. It's like, well, no, why don't you just not be a jerk? Like, that's just as easy.
Yeah.
In fact, it's so much less energy.
It's less energy to release
Yeah.
stuff. Releasing stuff is not, people are like, oh, why don't you just open source it? It's like, well, you're actually now responsible for everybody's problems.
So anyways, I'm sorry to hear this about Gordon. Like, if you know Gordon or if you see him, just say, hey, like, thanks for doing all you did and completely understand. And when he's ready, he'll probably come back. Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. It's up to him.
This is it. And
It's
so-
cool. Like it's like I thank him for the work he did. I have no obligation. As Neil Gaiman says, you are not. He is not your bitch.
Yeah.
It's true. That's true of writers. It's true of coders.
I think it's a shame because, there's a lot of different things going on. One, people are taking code and putting their name on it and doing things they really shouldn't. The other thing is people are purposely going out of their way saying, I can do that if I want, and then also I'm going to, not to be a jerk, but jerk. It seems like it seems like this could have been prevented.
Yeah.
So anyways, sorry, Gordon. If you want to do stuff with Adafruit, let us know. I mean,
yeah.
we don't.
But it is. I know exactly what you're
And the other
talking
thing
about.
is when there's toxic people in these communities, we ban them, and then like we get death threats. So like that's the other thing. Like a lot of people don't know that behind the scenes, So like someone's being really crummy, and then like URI emails gets like, this
Yeah.
is like the worst thing that's ever happened to some
Once
guy.
a week we get threatened or told.
Yeah.
or
So
whatever.
anyways, we're not going to change what we're doing. We're not going away.
I'm crazy.
Yeah, but I do want to say, if you see this happening out there, stop the person who's doing this.
I think another thing is that, and the people watching, if you do see somebody and you're like, oh, I wish they'd release the code or something, instead of saying, why didn't you just do blah, blah, just say, hey, how can I help you? What can I do to help get this going? Like, I get people all the time, I don't care, but people are constantly saying like, why haven't you made this new board? Or why haven't you done this or that? And I think I don't care, but for other people, I think it could get annoying. And if you come to it as saying, hey, how can I help? What can I do to get this going? Oftentimes the person will say, hey, the thing that's actually stopping this from happening is I need someone to write the documentation, or I need somebody to test it, or I need, a Raspberry Pi 4 with 4 gigabytes of RAM or something. And then you can help them. And I think that's I found is a better way to get people to how to be part of the community than just needling them endlessly.
Okay. Anyways, lesson learned, read the blog post, share it, and let's try to avoid this.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of open source, so we have a bunch of guides.
We
These are the
do.
guides, all of them. You can stop at the Magic Cap one.
Yes, the Magic Cap guide, that was cool because we showed under a Mac emulator, which we did earlier, you can now run the Magic Cap software. If you saw the movie, it's cool. It's like a 320 by 480 display, so you can like run it on our 3.5-inch TFT, which is kind of neat. It's monochrome touchscreen, and it had like a very skeuomorphic design. But you watch it, you can see HyperCard in it a little bit. You can see Newton in it a little bit. All good stuff. We have that guy we talked about, how to prepare graphics for ink displays. So that image of me, with my pink hair, and Dave from DigiKey with his red DigiKey shirt. It was a perfect image because we're on a gray background. And that's a photo that we then converted to tricolor, and it looks amazing. Using dithering techniques, you can get really good looking images on an e-ink display. And now that we have CircuitPython e-ink support natively, it's a perfect time to check out this guide. We also have a guide for the ATCC Stemma breakout. This is a crypto chip from Microchip. It's got a lock on it. That's how you know it's secure. And this chip can securely store certificates. It can do hashes. It can do crypto authentication. It can do random number generation. A lot of good stuff. There's an Arduino library already. There's no data sheet for this, so we're using the Arduino library because it works pretty well. And then we're also working on a CircuitPython library. Maybe next week we'll release it. We have a guide from Erica. If you are a teacher in the New York or NYC Department of Education system, and you want to use us as your vendor, you'd like to pick up some metros or circuit playgrounds or sensors or copper tape, we are a vendor. We'll go through this guide and we'll show you how you can order through us through the approved vendor system, which is awesome because we're a New York manufacturer and you're a New York teacher manufacturing students. And together we will manufacture the best
You
students.
are the brain crafter.
You're the brain crafter. Next up, we've got from David Stells, finally with 5.0 out, we have a new capability. We can now save screenshots of your CircuitPython board. So if you've got a display or a PyPortal and you've got image output, maybe you draw something with Turtle, or you made a cool game using UStage, you can now take a screenshot, not super fast, but you can save it to either internal QSPI memory or to the SD card. Perfect for updating your guide with like pixel perfect images because it grabs exactly from the frame buffer. You've got also from Melissa, she's got the how to run TensorFlow Lite object recognition on the Raspberry Pi 4. Pi 4 came out. It is just fast enough now that you can do TensorFlow Lite and, for example, running the MobileNet V2 object recognition neural network, and this gives you inferences at around 150 milliseconds, which is under the magical 200 milliseconds needed for things to seem instantaneous. So it's just good enough now. Try it out. You can recognize up to 1,000 words. You add a little bit of a graphics helper to just make it look a little prettier and display what it is that it's detecting, as well as the frame per second and the temperature. Check out the guide. It's super fast. You can get going in like 10 minutes, and you either HDMI or PyTFT output. We've got a guide for the new product this week is the Airlift Bitsy add-on. If you got Itsy Bitsy and you're like, how should I, Wi-Fi? We got these adorable little U-blocks, Wi-Fi and also Bluetooth modules. We put them on a Bitsy wing. It has capacitive, plenty of capacitors on it to stabilize the 3-volt power supply. It's got level, not level shifting, output mux for the MISO pin, so you can share the SPI port, RGB LED, and a little spot for a crypto chip if you would like to solder one on. Check out the guide. It has code for Arduino and CircuitPython. So airlift, ahoy. From JP, last week's Monster Mask project. He's been having a lot of fun making creepy masks. This one is like this creepy doll and these big eyes inside of it. It's an interesting mask because it has this mesh in front of it, which makes the eyes look a little bit darker, which I think is kind of cool, makes them a little hidden. But also you can see through it from the underneath. That's why how we designed the mask. So you have the eyes a little bit higher on your head, but you can still see through it. And then staying dry, staying safe. Noah and Pedro got out a guide this week for Neopixel LED Mickey ears. They got a Mickey hat. Although what's weird about this hat is like the hat part is Mickey's pants. I don't know exactly what that means. But anyways, it's the Mickey ears. It's got the diffused neon NeoPixels for a beautiful look and a Gemma with a tilt sensor for a very easy build. All in Maker. It's written in MakeCode. So they tried out MakeCode with a simulator for the first time.
Do you know how many guides we have?
It's almost 2,000.
1,981.
So maybe by October we'll have.
1981.
That's a good year.
Yeah. Okay. Some New York City factory footage. Adafruit, take it away. Here is Michelle doing some very precision work.
Got the loops,
Yep.
got the magnification with the magnification and magnification.
And it would not be a New York City factory footage segment without a sunset or sunrise. That's right outside the windows of the pick and place machine.
That's beautiful.
Okay, 3D printing. Noah and Pedro have 2 videos. We're going to do these back to back. And this is the Neopixel Mickey ears.
Mickey ears.
And then we have a fun sped up.
All right, take it away.
Hey, what's up folks? In this project, we'll show you how to make your own set of light up Mickey ears. These are really bright LEDs that look a lot like neon lights. They're Adafruit Neopixel strips with extra thick silicone, so the diffusion looks really nice. They're individually addressable, so you can create some pretty cool animations. We made it so they flash like fireworks when you shake your head. In this video, we'll show you how to wire up the electronics to make your own set of Neopixel Mickey ears. The extra thick silicone gives the LEDs a full glow, while the other pair has more of a marquee-like effect, so this could be really nice for a more classic look. Both of these are side light Neopixel strips, so the light emits at 90 degrees. This makes them great for running along an edge like these Mickey ears. We have a Stemma M0 with a tilt ball switch. This is a much simpler build and doesn't need a lot of wired connections. If you're just getting started and looking to get your projects up and running, definitely check out Microsoft's MakeCode. The Maker version supports a lot of boards from Adafruit and the open source community. The user interface is nice and simple, and there's a lot of great examples and built-in LED animations. You can use the simulator to test your code and get auto-generated breadboard wiring. This makes easy to read circuit diagrams so you can follow along while you prototype. You can plug in the device via USB and upload code directly from the MakeCode website. Any supported board from Adafruit can pair with the device via web USB, so it's easy to connect. You can also share the code and download it from any computer using the Chrome browser. With the Stemma M0, you can hook up a strip of Neopixels using alligator clips, which is nice because you don't need to solder. This could be a really handy tool for throwing a quick LED project together. MakeCode has a pretty nice set of tools, so it's easy to add some interaction. It's free to use, and there's no sign up, so you can get to it right away. It's also an open source project, so big shout out to the MakeCode team at Microsoft. You can get the parts to build this project, links are in the description. We got these Mickey style ears from Disney World, but you could use whatever you like. We started by measuring the length of Neopixel strips we'll need to cut for the ears. We used heavy-duty scissors to cut through the thick silicone. Copper pads underneath have markings denoting the connections. We used cutters to snip away the silicone so that one of the LEDs are exposed. Wiring will become much more manageable with the bare end of the strip, so we can expose this area. The arrow marks the direction of the data, so you can use this to get the right orientation when soldering them together. We used a craft blade from Slice to make an opening in the hat for the LED strip. Just a small slit near the ears will do. These ceramic blades are nice and sharp, so they can easily cut through this thicker material. Insert the bare strip through the slit and push it through the other side. Make sure the pads are accessible so we can attach wires. Test fitting the strip ensures we have the right amount of coverage. Next, we can get started on wiring up the tilt switch to the Stemma M0. Be sure to check out our Learn guide for a full step-by-step tutorial. Connect the two strips together and make sure the data line is wired in the proper direction. This flexible ribbon cable will make our connections nice and tidy. We can string the wiring through the slits and carefully pull it through the other side. You can use the existing holes just behind the ears to route the wiring. The two strips wrap around the ears, so the wiring will need to jump between them. To keep all of the wiring hidden inside, we'll need to solder the strip while it's inside the hat. Now we can work on wiring the Neopixel strips to the Stemma M0. Solder the voltage, ground, and data lines to the pads on the Stemma M0. Test out the circuit before we glue down the LED strips. To power the circuit on and off, we'll need to build a slide switch adapter. Wire a slide switch in line with the voltage wire and use heat shrink tubing to insulate the connections. We used a 2-pin JST connector so we can easily disconnect the battery. The slide switch will be attached just below the ear with the wiring wrapped above the battery. We used duct tape to secure the circuit to the ear cup. The Stemma M0 and tilt switch on one ear and the battery and the slide switch on the other. You'll need to apply some silicone glue along the edge of the ear cups to bond the strips. We used binder clips to tack the strips down while the glue sets. You'll want to let the glue cure for a few hours before wearing them out, but there you have it. That's how you can make your own set of Neopixel Mickey ears. And And if Mickey ears aren't quite your thing, you could build this into your wearable costumes or props. So you can reuse the code in Circuit in any number of ways. We think a bit of interaction like shake to sparkle really make projects more interesting. And since the LEDs are side lit, they only shoot forwards, so you won't blind anyone behind you. That can be really considerate for those fireworks shows and parades. If you have projects you'd like to share with us, we invite you to come on the show and tell. All participants will receive a free vinyl sticker. Also check out the Adafruit Discord server. You can join the community, get project help, and share your projects. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more projects from Adafruit.
And don't forget, 3D Hangouts will return next week. They took a break today because of Dorian the hurricane, so they were not doing the show today. They're all fine and everything. They just knew it probably wouldn't work out doing the show.
Also, stay safe.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, like why do a show if the power might go out?
Okay.
Go wrong.
So don't forget, we showed the video in the beginning, AdaBox. I have a little snippet version of it. If you sign up for AdaBox right now, you will get one shipped to you in the next 2 weeks. So here is a reminder. One of us. Okay, so you probably want to save some money if you put some stuff in your cart.
10% off.
Yeah.
Physical
And
things.
It is now time for some new products.
New.
Okay. First up, this one is a coming soon, but you can
Coming
sign up for it.
soon.
It'll be limited edition, but we're gonna have
This
them.
poster. So you want to celebrate CircuitPython 5? Get Blinka V for victory. V is for 5. V is for sign up, and you'll be notified when they come back in stock.
Yeah, one of the reasons we do these, it was like, it used to be so cool back in the day when like this new operating system comes out and like it's Tiger or it's like Longhorn or it's something. Now, no one really does that anymore. So now we have like, okay, here's
We
here's
got
CircuitPython 5.
the radio waves because it's Bluetooth, and then the V for 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we got 2 versions of this.
Yep, we've got 2 screens from Pimeroni. These are, I think they were originally designed for their Picade kits, but they're handy if you just want to add LVDS displays. These really nice 8-inch or 10-inch displays. We've got 2 types. It's the same driver board, but one has an 8-inch display and one has a 10-inch display. And the board is programmed for that display. So if you look on the back, it'll tell you which one you've got. Like this is the 10-inch, it's a little bit larger. It's, I think, 1060 by 7, and yes, actually, yeah, and this one is 1024 by 768, and I can show them off. They're actually the same chips that we use for our everyday HDMI converters, but they've now on just like a specialized Pimeroni board, and they have the LVDS connector all ready to go, so it's a nice and easy plug-in connector. So these are really beautiful displays, and they've got a little button board as well, so you can turn them on and off. And there's also a menu where you can set the brightness and color and contrast, and it's also got a I2S output, this chip, the RT2660H, classic HDMI to whatever converter. And if you want, you can wire that up and it'll give you audio output as well. You power it from micro USB, has HDMI input, and here I'm just driving it from a Raspberry Pi 4. It's just plug and play. You don't have to do any configuration or anything. It just shows up as a display. Super easy.
Okay, next up.
Next up, we've got the Airlift add-on for Itsy Bitsies. So if you have our little Itsy Bitsy boards, you love them. They're so cute and tiny and small, but you want to add Wi-Fi. Well, Ubox makes a little ESP32 module. We program in with the Nina firmware and pop it on top, and you can use Arduino or CircuitPython. So this is a little demo, which I have. I also have the live version of this demo if you want to see that. It connects to the internet and it gets you stuff, and it's all TLS 1.2. It's nice and secure. It's pretty fast. It handles all your socket connection stuff for you. It's so nice. So this is the Itsy Bitsy. So I just got stacking headers soldered in onto the Itsy itself. And then I'll just show this if I remove it. Underneath, this is an Itsy M4. So you can run CircuitPython or Arduino with this on an Itsy M4. If you want to use this with an Itsy Bitsy 32U4 or M0, you will only be able to do that with Arduino code because there's not enough RAM to run the CircuitPython core. And on the 32U4, the RAM's pretty limited. You can't do a ton. You can like connect to MQTT maybe and get some data, but you can't do a lot. So that's just something to watch out for. But on the M4, you're golden. You can do anything you like. And we'll have more Itsy Bitsies out later, of course. But this is a lovely way to add a little easy Wi-Fi addition to it.
Okay, the star of the show tonight, besides the community and the Adafruit team members, is this.
Yes, we have the Halloween M4. Last year around this time we released the Halloween M0, which was a SAMD21 based board, a lot like this one. It was even in the Ada box, so this, this is a kind of nice upgrade.
Yeah.
This has the same connectors, basically the same setup, but it has an upgraded display. The display is now 240 by 240, not 120 by 128. The chip is upgraded. It's a SAMD51, not a SAMD21, so it's much, much faster. It can do our new M4Is, which is a configurable, kind of rendered eyeball display, which is much nicer. It's got, as well, 4 side-lit Neopixel LEDs. So you can see that from this demo here. I don't have it on my live demo, but on the other demo you can see we have 4 side-lit Neopixels, and they are on these corners. And when you program it, you want to run Neopixel code on it. It basically just acts like a string of 4 Neopixels. The eye looks really great because it's a much nicer IPS display, so it looks good from multiple angles, nice and bright. And of course it's got the SAMD51 on it, so it's a really powerful processor. But you still get all of the goodies. You get the speaker output, you get a 3-pin stem over here, 3-pin stemma over here, I2C connections, you get Stemma or Stemma QT, 8 megabytes of QSPI flash, on-off switch, analog input or capacitive touch pads, light sensor, reset button, and all the goodies here, rechargeable battery input if you'd like to make it portable. It's the exact same size as the previous, so any old projects, you can now upgrade them and they'll just work. They'll just have a much better display and much faster processor. And of course, those wonderful side-lit Neopixels.
All right, so with that is new products.
Yay! New.
All right, I think it's time for a recap.
Yeah, recap. New. We got coming soon the Python V for Victory Python 5 celebratory poster designed by Bruce Yan. Sign up when we get these. We'll put them in stock. It'll be a limited run. For your single board Linux computer or computer, if you want to add on an HDMI display, these lovely 8-inch and 10-inch HDMI add-on displays are super easy. They're plug and play. You plug them into your HDMI input and they show up. They even do scaling and stuff for you. Great way to add HDMI to your Raspberry Pi or other Linux board or computer. The Airlift Bitsy add-on will add Wi-Fi Airlift support to your Itsy Bitsy from the 32U4 up to the M4 in Arduino and CircuitPython. You can now add Wi-Fi. So small. The Halloween M4 is out. This is an upgrade over the Halloween M0 from last year. Now it's the same size, same silk screen. The display is about the same size, but it's 4 times as many pixels, 240 by 240 IPS display. It's got side-lit Neopixel LEDs for cool edge lighting there, but still has all the goodies like the feather wing connector, the Stemma connectors, capacitive touch, speaker output, and all that good stuff, just faster and better.
That's it. Okay,
That was new products.
let's do some top secret.
Yeah.
So first up, we showed this, and Phil showed this in the show and tell, but we thought we'd show this real quick. This is coming soon. This is an upcoming guide. This is the Roger Rabbit style crazy eyes.
Spooky eyes using
Yeah.
Pepper's Ghost.
Okay, and then also coming up, we'll have this out soon. This is a TFT bonnet.
Yeah, I was working with the little TFTs and they worked really well. So I was like, oh, let's make a little, we have an OLED bonnet. I thought I'd make a TFT bonnet.
Okay, next up. Now, this is one of those ones where we want everyone to tell us what we did wrong with this board, because everyone has opinions when you don't want them, but we want them. So this is an STM32 Feather.
That's right. It's the STM32 F405 Feather. And it's going to be using CircuitPython or MicroPython or Arduino. We're upgrading to USB-C, so it's our first Feather since we've started doing more USB-C stuff, so we're ready. And it's got a Stemma connector at the end, Stemma QT. It's got QSPI flash. Underneath, it has an SD card slot, so you can have an SDIO connected SD card. And I'm just looking for feedback. Does anyone have any hints or tricks for the STM32 F405? Have you used it?
Don't worry, we'll do a blog post. The comments will be open.
What do you think I should do different, or what did I do wrong? Because it's almost routed. I have a couple air wires left to go, so now's a good time to give me some deets.
Okay,
Give me hints.
back in the vault.
Back in default with you.
All right, so don't forget the code is 5 is alive.
555 5 is live.
It's all the way up till 11:59. And also a little bit of programming note. Tomorrow, most likely, 8 p.m., we're going to have a Hackaday Turns 15 video broadcast. And let's do some questions, Lady Ada, over
I'm ready.
on Discord, adafruit.it/Discord. By the way, we finally got discord.gg/Adafruit working again. We contacted them, and I got stuck in a email loop with
Yeah.
the way the ticketing system works there. But eventually it got fixed. So that's, if you want to use that, you can use that too. Join our 13,000 of us. So we have a couple questions lined up.
Great.
First up,
Do them up.
does anyone know on product ID 916 it says to add a 470 ohm resistor if using 12 volts? Is that quarter of a watt or
Yep.
question mark?
Just use a quarter watt resistor unless specified elsewhere. People basically say whenever you say resistor, you just mean a quarter watt. That's kind of the standard issue. If they ever mean higher, they'll tell you, they'll say, use a half watt or full watt resistor.
Okay. Next up. Question, with MakeCode from Microsoft, is it possible to manage interruptions?
The interruptions are actually handled for you. Every time you make a forever thread or on event, that's an interrupt. So it's actually handling interrupts for you. You don't have to manage them. You just create a thread or an on event block, and it'll be an interrupt.
Okay.
Amazing.
And then, I'm going to get this one. Hey everyone, does the Trinket M0 have an onboard LiPo charger? No, it does not.
It does not.
And there's reasons that we decide to, when we put a charger on things and when we don't.
Yes, the Trinket was designed to be small, and so we didn't add a LiPo charger support. Also, there's no LiPo connector on it,
Yeah.
so it's not always clear that it's used for LiPos. But we have a little LiPo backpack that you could solder on if you'd like.
Yeah.
You have to solder 3 wires, so you could do that.
Yeah.
Or you can use a USB battery pack.
Yeah. The other thing that because sometimes, this actually just came in over the weekend. So there are some boards like dev boards that we don't suggest using LiPos if you're going to start to turn it into a wearable project.
Yeah.
And that's why on our boards that, I think it's generally accepted that they're kind of wearable, like a Flora
Yeah.
or a Circuit
Playground, for example, does not
Circuit
have
Playground.
LiPo charging on
Yeah.
purpose. I don't want people to use it with a LiPo because it's for kids. They should be using batteries, rechargeable batteries
Yeah.
instead.
So, one of the suggestions that we have is if you're going to do something wearable, use a battery pack, USB battery pack, or something like AAA's,
Yeah.
AA's. Okay. Let's see if there's any more questions that came in. What do you recommend for CircuitPython besides Moot? Try Visual
Studio.
Try Visual Studio
They now
Code
have
because
plugins.
they have a plugin now.
Yeah.
So that's
Perfect
the one,
timing.
Yeah. Next up, where does that STM32F4 Future Feather rank in speed from your current M0, M4 to maybe T4?
It's a little faster than the M4 because it's an STM M4 chip, and it's running at 168 megahertz. That said, it doesn't have as much peripheral stuff supported, so it's faster by way of just megahertz, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be faster for all purposes.
Okay. What's the hardest part of manufacturing our products?
Documentation and support is always going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just takes work.
I'd say, just because I've watched this process for almost 15 years, it'll
Yeah.
be soon, is the designing of the hardware doesn't take.
No, the design of the hardware is very easy.
Yeah, it is. It's all the other things that go into it. Managing the supply chains and having a great team that can work on it,
Yeah.
and making sure people are putting money in their 401k and having, like all the things that you don't expect.
Yeah,
like
it's everything else.
Yeah, and
It's everything not hardware.
it's everything not hardware that's the hardest. And I think you could tell the difference between a company like Adafruit, that the people here really enjoy what they're doing, and we try to compensate everyone the best we can, the most we can, and we do profit sharing. We don't have any loans or venture capital. Like everything's transparent within the company, and I think you can tell the quality from that. And I think setting your company up to be like that to make hardware is the hardest thing. It takes a really long time.
Yeah.
We aren't YouTube personalities. We actually run a company all the other hours except for this one.
Yeah.
So those are usually the hardest things. Okay. I want to introduce my school to electronics, but I don't know how. Say, take a look at learn.adafruit.com and look at the guides and see the type of projects that maybe the school would be interested in. Also, there's usually a local makerspace. There's usually a teacher who has some interest in this. Also, bring in a Circuit Playground.
Yeah.
Say, hey, like, I want to...
Circuit Playground, MakeCode, it's the easiest
I was
way.
going to say, go to makecode.com.
Yeah, we have a lot
Okay.
of MakeCode guides.
Okay. Folks like how you can pop the information out of your head without any effort. That
Yes.
is cool. Okay, can the cap touch pads be used as analog digital inputs on a Pi roller?
I don't remember if they're analog inputs, but they definitely can be used as digital inputs.
Yeah.
That's why there's little spots you can attach a little mini alligator clip or
Okay.
wire.
Well, if more questions come in, we might do that, but we're gonna do a giveaway now.
We're doing a giveaway.
Why don't we have a giveaway?
Okay, it's time for the trivia. Trivia giveaway. We're going to be giving away a Halloween M4.
That's nice.
I sees
It's a
you.
nice prize.
Yeah, it's a standalone. It's super fun. The first person to call the phone number when it appears on the screen, they're going to get through the phone. The phone's going to ring twice. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to say ahoy, ahoy. And then maybe you can say ahoy, ahoy back if you'd like. And then I say, congratulations, you've called Ask Engineer and you've won a fabulous prize. What's your name and where you're calling from? When you answer those questions, I'm going to award you a Halloween M4. Can't win if you've won before. Only one winner for my lifetime. If I come back from the dead, we'll talk about it. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So, call the phone. Here's the phone.
Yeah.
It has an eye, just like the Halloween.
Yeah, but
Phone lines are open.
I'll drop the phone number in the chat
Call it.
to help people.
Call it to win. The magical eye. Oh! It's ringing. Hello? Hello? Okay, it's ringing twice. Gotta pick it up. Ahoy, ahoy.
Hi.
Hello.
What?
Congratulations, you've called the phone number successfully. You're a winner of a Halloween M4.
Awesome.
Okay, what's your name and where you're calling from?
This is Devo.
Hi, Devo.
From Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hi, Devo from North Carolina. Well, congratulations, you've won a fabulous Halloween M4. All you have to do to claim your prize is email support@adafruit.com and say, hi, I'm Devo from North Carolina. I've won a product number 4300. Easy to remember, nice round number, and they will send that to you ASAP.
Awesome.
Okay, what's a project you're working on or you want to work on?
Actually, I'm working on a Infinity Cube.
Well, it could have an eyeball in the center of it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that sounds like a cool project. Come by and show and tell and show us your project. Or paste it up in Discord when you finished it. People love Infinity Cubes.
I will.
All right, well, thank you so much. And don't forget to email support@Adafruit to win your prize.
And that was 4,300?
4,300. Correct.
All right.
Okay, good night.
so
Bye. Okay, good work.
Okay, that's our show for tonight, everybody. Real quick, a couple little odds.
Paintbrush.
Yay, paintbrush.
Paintbrush.
Another couple odds and ends in the chat. One says, I really want to say thank you, Lady Ada, for introducing me to open source electronics.
Yay.
And then
Hairspray.
Hairspray.
Yeah. And then other question that came in, Dan's helping out in the chat. Thanks, Dan. Rob asked, would Adafruit make a custom product for customers based on customer design needs? So generally speaking, no. And we'll tell you why. Because the pick and place machines are here for making Adafruit products for Adafruit customers. When you start to get into contract manufacturing and product development, you're looking at releasing one product like a year, maybe every couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to give us $1 million, we'll actually think about it, because that's how much it takes. A long time.
It would depend.
Yeah, it depends.
It would really depend.
Yeah.
Based on the revenue we need to take in to keep Adafruit going, $1 million might not be enough depending on the product.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have a price tag on our head. We have rent. We have all the team members. So it would really depend on, like, we would say, well, how much do we normally make around this period? How much time does it take to make $1 million?
Yeah.
With our products and more.
That's why we have a jobs board. Post up on the jobs board and you hire a consultant.
But here's what a lot of people do. They have a fantastic living going to clients and customers saying, what do you want? And then they take all the cool open source Adafruit stuff and they make products for it and they sell it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's our show.
I think I got to all of them. Yeah, that's our show for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. Don't forget the code is 5 alive. We will have this code up till 11:59. Don't forget AdaBox is going to be shipping really soon. It's
Sign
Halloween
up.
themed.
There's good stuff in it.
All right.
Stuff you can't get.
Special thanks to Jesse May behind the scenes in Slack, all the Adafruit remote team members that are in Slack and also in Discord. Special thanks to all the Adafruit employees that are here in New York City. Also, I don't know if any of our new people are watching that just joined the Adafruit team. Hector just joined Fab.
Yes.
Michelle just joined Fab. We also had Ranjit just join our web dev group. So welcome aboard if you're watching the show. And
Ashley joined not too long ago.
Ashley just joined too, yeah. So Ashley just starred in one of the AdaBox videos.
That's
too.
right. There you see her. She's wearing the beautiful cape.
All right.
She wears that every day.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny is when folks start here, they say, "I really like that the dress code is like wear cool black gothy clothing if you want."
You don't have to.
But you could anything
But
goes.
if you do, that's cool.
Yeah, and it was one of the things we even put in our handbook. We're like, we really think it's cool for people to have self-expression, and some people came from jobs with it to cover tattoos. Not here, lots of things like that. I think it matters.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. Here is your moment of Zener.
Bye.